So assuming that you now have that diagnosis, and most people shouldn't have to wait 9 months for that biopsy. COVID has changed things slightly. I did read on a coeliac forum yesterday, someone saying she's been told she's got to wait a year. That is an incredibly long time to wait for a biopsy. What I would suggest here is that you go back to the doctor and you just tell them how utterly miserable you are. When I talk about the kind of pain I had, I thought it was going to be similar to childbirth. And for me, it is exactly the same. So if anyone says to me, oh, aren't you tempted just to have a biscuit every now and then, you know, a normal one with gluten in? No, because since giving birth to 2 children in the last 4 years, I can tell you I never want to go through that kind of pain again. And I'm sure anyone watching who has also been in similar pain knows exactly what I mean. If you are a silent celiac, which is somebody who doesn't get symptoms, but unfortunately has celiac disease, I really recommend you never, ever risk it for a biscuit. And by that, I mean, don't cheat. You mustn't cheat, you must steel yourself. I feel lucky in some ways that I get these horrible pains, and they tend to happen between 4 and 72 hours after I've accidentally eaten gluten. And the reason I say I feel lucky is because that absolutely definitely stops me ever from deliberately eating gluten. Now, that doesn't mean to say I haven't been glutened accidentally, and I'll come on to that later when I talk about going out to eat at cafes or restaurants or buying food in the supermarket and scrutinizing the ingredients on the back. So basically, when I got my gluten-free diagnosis, I didn't know where to begin. There was very little help out there. This was 1999. Coeliac UK were fantastic. They sent me a little booklet with a list of things that I could have, and that was great. But it's not as great as it is today, where you've got a lot more on the World Wide Web that you can tap into. That said, the flip side of that is that you will find people giving you false information online. I do not agree with any of this. I do not agree with faddy diets. I do not agree with people telling you how to eat gluten-free when they haven't done any research on what is good for you and what isn't. You can be gluten-free and be eating chips every day, and that's also a vegan diet. So if you're a gluten-free vegan, you can be doing that. You're not going to be very healthy. You're not going to be getting all the nutrients you need. So one thing when you start gluten-free that you might be worried about is getting those nutrients and making sure that you are really healthy. Something that happened to me, and you may resonate with this, is I felt very strongly, and I was only 23 at the time, that I had been given the gift of looking into the future and seeing what it would be like to be unhealthy, and it might be a bit too late to do something about it. So what I did was I suddenly decided I wanted to eat very healthily. And at the